people used violence and attacked our police and our border guards to come into Hungary from a territory of a safe country. So the Serbian army was not in the back of these people shooting at them, so they had no reason to attack and to wound and cause injuries to Hungarian policemen and Hungarian border guards. Those people, or at least a big part of them, big share of them, who have come to Hungary in the recent months, actually rejected any kind of cooperation with the local authorities. Rejected identification, rejected registration, taking fingerprints or taking photographs. Most of them. So it's a totally different situation. And once again, these people have been coming through the Western Balkan route. Can someone tell me a reason why you have to flee, for example, from Croatia to Slovenia? Or what's the reason you want to flee from Austria to Germany? Or why you violate the border between Macedonia and Serbia? So what's the reason for that? Because they want to go to Germany or to Sweden. But, this is not a fundamental human right. Again, I have to come back to this. Okay, then division of labor between parts of the world. You are totally right. In the perspective of Europe, has been facing a very serious demographic challenge. You're totally right. Now my question is whether migration is the right answer for the demographic challenges. And I would say no. And there's a heavy debate actually going on about that. But not in the last 1 year. In the last I don't know how many years, but this was not an exciting debate until migration started. Or I can tell you that there had been a debate going on in various circles and companies about how Europe should approach her Christian heritage and roots. But these were not, so exciting debates that they would be able to become cover stories. But as migration challenge hit Europe, these kind of debates kind of came above the surface. So my position here in this debate would be, or our position in this debate would be that migration is not the proper answer to the demographic challenges of Europe. Family policy would be the right answer. In Hungary, we had an attempt on that, or we have an attempt on that. From 2010 onwards, since we have been in office, we have attached some benefits to this issue in order to encourage people to have more kids in the families. And I think this would be the right answer. And I tried to formulate your question regarding who's going to feed whom in a way which allow me to give you a proper answer. But my position is that leading countries, governing countries, are really complex issues. So it's the Chinese, it's the Nigerians who have to deal with their challenges in a complex way. But having seen the figures of Chinese economy, growing, well, I think it's a pretty attractive growth path, what they have been performing so far when it comes to economy. Although I see our colleagues, economists, say that, China is in trouble because recently they had 10% growth, now they have 7.5. Okay, we would be happy with the 7.5% growth rate, number one. Number two, that volume-wise, 7.5% of Chinese economy growth today means much more than like the 10% 5 years ago. So I think in this respect, all countries have responsible governments who have to deal with their challenges, and of course, if they're not able to do so, they have to turn to international community, and then let's discuss what can be done.
I have a question on economic aspect. What is the Hungarian position on the euro stability?
Well, I have a very short answer on that. We have a currency called forint, and it has been put into the constitution. And in order to change this, you need a 2/3 majority anyhow in Hungarian government to be put together. So I think that when it comes to Eurozone, the conclusion we can draw from recent developments is that no one should put seriously into consideration to join the Eurozone until the given country is ready, totally, entirely, and until Eurozone is totally and entirely ready in this respect. I think this is the most, what I can say as a politician from this position, not to influence anything in a bad direction.
Perfect. We have another question here.
I don't know if it's perfect or not, but this is okay.
Hello, it's Marcus from Poland. I'm standing here. Hello. I was just very curious about this debate you just mentioned. You just want to talk with someone. Who do you want to talk with, and about what in the European Union, right? Because those people, they're just quite strange people, because they want to, say other people how they should live and so on. But I'm not going to speak about that. I would like to ask you if you also have, Hungary has a solution, for example, a topic of the debate, and with whom you want to talk with. And the last thing is that I have this kind of a feeling that every time something strange is happening in Europe, United States are involved. Like they went to Iraq and they lied to the world that Hussein, he has some, bombs and so on and so on, and they just stayed in the country, they just totally demolished the society, the area and so on. So how would you link US, maybe not Iraq, also Iraq, with the situation in the world, and if US has some, of course they have something to say, but how much do they have to say because of their influence in Europe and Germany and so on? And that's it.
Sorry, did I catch it right that you asked with whom we would like to talk about the sanctions? Was it right? Sorry? Your question was whom we would like to talk about?
Yeah, because what's the solution and maybe the topic that you would like to talk about during this debate? Because, let's say that statements of the countries like Germany and let's say Western Europe, they're quite,
regarding sanctions in Russia, you mean?
Also this, because it gives me a feeling that we have something like Cold War again, right? Because we have Western countries and you are just like talking about Russia and so on, and it's actually US is linked to this because they don't want, I think that they don't want to allow Western countries to be close to Russia and so on. Now we have this conflict with migration, which is I don't know.
I got it.
And I would like to
Okay, thank you. I got it.
How would you like to, for example,
So my point that regarding sanctions, when I say that we have to talk about it openly, it means that the heads of state and government should speak about it. So not under the carpet. That's all what we want. And today I met your foreign minister, and I understand that Denmark would be ready to automatically prolong the sanctions, but the Danish government has nothing against having a debate about that. And I think this is a fair and open and democratic approach to this issue, because it's so important that we have to speak about it on the highest possible level. When it comes to the US, of course, US has a huge impact on Europe. And of course, US has a huge impact on our neighborhood. They always have. And when it comes to the issue of migration, we cannot avoid the question of our southern and southeastern neighborhood. And I think that, we have to be aware of the fact that some real bad international political decisions have caused troubles in the southern and southeastern neighborhood of ours. And here I don't want to name countries because the international community or part of the international community was part of the decision. We have to admit that. And these international mismanagements, let's put it this way, led to a position where actually unstable countries have been created. Because I think there's one consequence what we have to draw. That in the American baseball caps, there's a small tag saying that one size fits all, which is by the way a lie because we have different sizes of heads. But one size fits all doesn't make sense in politics either. So we have to understand that different cultures, different geographic positions, different understandings of history put preconditions which lead countries to have different ways of managing their lives. And this is something we have to put into consideration when we when we try to educate others how to accommodate their own lives. I think we have to respect decisions of other countries. Like, you know, in case of Poland, like our Polish friends have been criticized a lot recently by European politicians, and actually our sister party has lost in Poland. So I mean, we could be politically imbalanced as well. But what I say here is that no one should afford to talk to a country or talk to people of their country in a way that sometimes European institutions do. We have to respect the Polish people, we have to respect their decisions. We have to respect the Hungarian people's decision. We never criticized any decisions of European people, why they elected this or that leader or this or that party. Because that's a matter of sovereignty.
Thank you.
I have seen your discussion here with my protocol officers,
yes,
but I would like to make a judgment because there were some other people willing to raise questions. Sorry, we have to do at least 2 more, okay? Not to. I'm usually hostage of the protocol officers, but I enjoy.
Hi, thanks for being here and having this talk. You mentioned that you see the Schengen zone in danger because of some countries not protecting their borders accordingly. And I wonder how you would tackle that problem. I mean, we have Frontex, and we also have a couple of states who try to stabilize the Mediterranean area, such as France, having the Mediterranean Partnership and stuff. And I think that so far Hungary didn't really get a lot involved into this until we had like this big migration crisis, or we're still having it. So I just wonder how you would really like tackle this, how you would finance like securing borders and people defense. How do you see that?
Well, thank you very much. Can we like collect 3 of them here and then it's
okay,
not that time consuming? Yeah,
for sure.
If it's okay with you. I mean, here there are some guys who would like to raise questions.
I have a question about the whole refugee situation and how the refugees are handled and coming into Hungary, and the fence, not the wall, of course, the fence, how it works. In BBC Hard Talks, you were talking about that physically impossible to take in the refugees, the quota, what the European Union requires. And you said, right now you just said that you didn't criticize European decisions and European people. You just said that the quota is nonsense, also in this talk. My question would be that by statistics from the government statements till 2020, there are more than 5.4 billion crowns will be spent on building stadiums, and these stadiums in Hungary. I'm just asking, and it's also the Ministry of Interior said that cost of a refugee in Hungary is 110 Danish crowns per day. The quota is 1,300, what Hungary said is not impossible to take in. My question would be, I just counted and the numbers adds up, so if Hungary takes the 1,300 refugee in the 4-year terms, calculated with the 110 crowns per day cost, it would be 204 million, what is a 3.7% of the budget what Hungary spent to building stadiums. My question would be, why Hungary can't take in refugees? And only one more question about that. You said that Hungary should, the European Union should be fair and should work together, and the working together will take it further. So my question, why is it that Hungary says that the quota is not possible for Hungary? And of course, 1,300 persons is one of the lowest amount what was given to countries. Thank you.
Any more questions?
Yeah, we can take one more. No problem.
All right. So I just wanted to ask. I'm from Bulgaria, and in Bulgaria we have there is a very strong debate about the inflow of refugees at the moment. There is even a petition about Bulgaria leaving the EU because of this, as we don't want to comply with the requirements from Brussels about it. Maybe it's also relevant for what the guy before me said, but in two years ago there was a case when a member of parliament who is a Muslim, because we have a Muslim minority in Bulgaria, and this guy said that in 20 years' time Bulgaria will not even be called Bulgaria anymore. So it's quite radical to tolerate such groups of people within our borders. And I think this answers the question of the guy before me.
Sorry, I have a question because it's not 20 years, it's till 2020, so it's 4 years from now.
Yeah, but
that's the budget, sorry.
Many people of those who are at the moment entering the EU are planning to stay. So
what
measures are in place for their subsequent returning?
Thank you very much for your questions. And I'm very happy that you raised the quota issue because I should have addressed that. First of all, regarding border protection. You know, from the very beginning, we have made it clear that when it turned out that Greece was not able to comply with its obligations and to protect the Schengen zone, that we have to put together a joint, we had the proposal, like 1.5 years ago at least, to put together a joint European force. Okay, not Frontex, because Frontex is, I mean, okay, they're officers, okay? They can take fingerprints, they can identify, hopefully, or they can register, but they cannot protect the border. So what we suggested there is to put together a joint European force. And in this case, we would accept obligatory quota, because there are professional people, I mean obligatory quota of putting together this joint European force. Because there are professionals who can say that, okay, in order to protect the southern border of Greece, we need so many troops, we need so many border guards, we need so many policemen, we need so many ships, we need so many helicopters, we need so many planes, Googles, whatever. That should have been put together. And then it should have been said that, okay, now 28, you have to distribute it. Whether you give money, whether you give in kind, whether you give personal. That's how I mean that obligatory quota in this respect would be acceptable. We haven't even tried it. We have accepted a situation that a member state of the Schengen zone cannot comply with its obligations. And when I say this, I don't bash Greece. And I don't bash the Greek people because we respect Greece and we respect the Greek people. What I say here is that it was impossible for one single member state to protect such a border. We have to protect 550 kilometers of external Schengen border. 550, plain. And it requires so many efforts from ours, you know? And when it comes to Greece, you can imagine maritime border, thousands of kilometers, islands, whatever. But, you know, as a professional solution, there should be a solution. Why didn't we put that together? Why didn't European Union put that together? So when it comes to border protection, sorry, but we cannot give up this position of ours. That number one should be to get back the ability to protect our own borders, because we don't want to accept a situation when people can cross borders whenever and wherever they want. Just simply, this is a matter of sovereignty of ours. And actually, we would not have been able to do it on our own. I mean, to stop the influx. It was Czech Republic, Slovakia, and Poland who helped us, personnel, in kind, and any other kinds of assistance. Because without their help, we wouldn't have been able to do it on our own. No, and when it comes to quotas, you know, I think decision about obligatory quotas is unimplementable, is against common sense, and decision was made with breaking the European regulations. Why I say that? It's unimplementable because we had around 400,000 people marching through the territory of our country last year, occupying railway stations, marching on the motorways, marching along the railway lines, rejecting to go into refugee camps. I would be eager what would happen to me if I started to walk on your motorways. or I mean, so respecting regulations is very important. So there were 400,000 people marching through our country. They didn't want to come to Hungary because if they had wanted to come to Hungary, they would have stayed in Hungary. But they wanted to go somewhere else, mainly to Germany and partly to Sweden. 400,000 people. So tell me, how we could force even 1,300 out of these to come to Hungary and to stay there? What would be the instrument to force them to stay there? We are living in Schengen zone. I can bet you that the first day they would be relocated in Hungary, the next day they would leave for Austria and then to Germany again. And how can you hinder that on a Schengen border? You cannot differentiate between people, that you are a Syrian relocated person, you cannot leave. That doesn't exist. So it's unimplementable. You cannot do it, simply, because you cannot force it. Why we think it's against common sense? Because it is translated as an invitation among those people who are making plans to hit the road and among people who are the smugglers. I think we need clear statements. Because when some friends of ours make statements that some countries would carry out asylum procedures regardless how people got there, that creates a situation when these migrants on the transit route are not ready to cooperate with the local authorities there. And you know what Dublin regulations say, that the first country you enter in the European Union, you have to submit your application for asylum status and you have to stay there until the procedure has been carried out. So there was a mass violation of Dublin regulation in this respect. So I think that the quota can be translated as an invitation, and I think that doesn't show to the solution of this situation. Number 3, why we have filed a lawsuit at the European Court, because we think that the decision about obligatory quota is an amendment to Dublin regulation. There was no debate about that. So Europe-wide legal experts accepted them, and you cannot amend Dublin treaty based on decision of ministers of interior. You need national legislation for that. So this is the reason why we think that it is unimplementable and against common sense, and it's breaking regulation. And by the way, principle, we are against it. By principle, we are against it because our position is that sequencing counts. And if border protection is not there, then today it's 1,300. Tomorrow is 2,000, day after tomorrow is 3,000, and then who knows where's the end of it. Because the quota is based on a mathematic method of some figure at the end. But what if this figure becomes double? 3 times more, 4 times more? Because currently there is no guarantee that number of migrants would not increase again radically and exponentially. So these are our problems with this. And here, please understand me correctly. Here, I want to say again that since it's a complex solution, we should not let's say, take the comfort or to give ourselves the luxury to say that it can be solved by this very single method. What we say is that since it's complex, a complex solution should be needed. And quota is not a miracle. It's not going to solve this problem alone. And I don't think it should be acceptable that we try to concentrate on one thing, and whoever doesn't agree then to bash and accuse and say that it's not European or being out of mainstream. That will happen in the history of European Union in the future as well, since we are 28. That in major issues, some of us will have different approaches. That's something we have to accept. And when I told you that we never criticize decision of European people, I mean it seriously. I didn't say that we never criticize European institutions. We criticize European institutions pretty, let's say, frequently. But you never heard from any of us saying that why Danish people decided to have a 9-party parliament, why Slovakian people decided to vote, I don't know for whom, why Polish people decided to vote for PIS, because it's their own decision. And I think we should respect that. And last but not least, I'm pretty sure you know that in Hungary there will be a referendum about the obligatory quota. Whether Hungarian people accept that that European institutions can make a decision which end up in the situation when you, as a given member state, cannot make the decision whom you let enter the territory of your country and whom you do not. This referendum will take place sometimes in autumn. We of course heard the criticism about that, but you know, I never heard anyone criticizing the Danish referendum or the Dutch referendum, or there's going to be a referendum in Great Britain, in the UK as well, where we cross fingers for yes vote, of course, and we do hope that UK stays in the European Union. But I think that it's an obvious right of the people to express their opinion about very important issues, and migration is one of the most important issues of the future of Europe. That's what I can conclude with. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for spending your time here. Your protocol officer informed me that she's not able to stop a plane, but I believe she's trying right now. We were also informed that you are a big fan of sports, especially football, soccer. So we got you a little present as a thank you, small thank you. Okay, sorry, I forgot to mention, the minister won't be joining us, obviously, but there'll be a small reception or networking event outside where you can get refreshments and talk to other students, share your views. Thank you for coming.